Have we read every mailbag question?
No. We skipped it.
No.
And here we go.
I can't believe
Zach, this is where we make our money, Zach. This is where we make our money for the show.
No. This is where we don't make.
No, this is legitimately where we're going to make our money because it's who besides Jordan Love will be the offensive star for the Packers this year. This one I actually thought about a little, like quite a bit today. And offensively, there's so many options to choose from on this Packers team, and it actually pisses me off the more I go down the roster. I'm like, all right, you got Jaden Reed, you got Christian Watson, you got Romeo Dobbs. You have Josh Jacobs, for love of God. You have, did I say Wicks? You have Wicks, too. Even the tight ends are good because some really good offensive linemen. The guy I'm going to pick, though, is the first one I said. I like Jaden Reed a lot this year. Do I think he's going to put up crazy numbers? No, there's too many mouths to feed at receiver in Green Bay. But just look at the way he closed last year. The playoffs faded a little bit, but the end of the season, couple really big games from him. He ended the year 64 receptions, 793 yards, and 8 touchdowns. And, as Jordan Love was elevating his game, you saw Jaden Reed elevating his game too. I think he's going to be, him and Watson to me, like Christian Watson's always good when he's on the field. But I think Jaden Reed's going to be a guy who takes a couple big steps next year in terms of his progression. I'm looking at him. And then, of course, Josh Jacobs is going to be a heavy part of that offense. But I'll go with Reed. How about you?
Dontavian, Jacane, Wicks. That's it. Go Who's.
Yeah, I mean, Wicks, like that's the thing about the Packers that's so frustrating is there's so many options. Like
I think this team, there's not going to be a single star. It's going to be a different guy going off every week. But
that's horrifying.
Dontavian Wicks will get his.
You'd almost rather have that than have the one.
Yeah, you game plan. We're just going to shut down the one guy and we'll win.
Yeah, you can't do that with the Packers, which sucks. Josh Jacobs he's going to be really good in Green Bay too.
I don't think so.
Last part of Tony's question was finally, do you think having a healthy Rashawn Gary, getting an aggressive defensive coordinator, and an amazing and versatile safety will be like having Clay Matthews and Charles Woodson and pairing them with Dom Capers to elevate that defense to Super Bowl caliber once again?
No.
Yeah, I mean, Clay Matthews and Charles Woodson, we're talking about some special talent, like really all-time special talents. I think the Packers defense, the sky's the limit. They have a ton of talent, but we've seen for a couple of years now, despite all the first rounders, they've been underwhelming at times, and a lot of the times underwhelming. I do think this is, again, the most hope that Packers fans have probably had for their defense heading into a season. And if it's all able to come together and, McKinney, whoever they draft, works out, that's how this team, then they move into Super Bowl territory or like legit Super Bowl territory if they're not already there. So I'm not going to go too far and compare them to Hall of Fame players yet. But it's an encouraging time. Yes, we get it for Packers fans. Second question: Have you been paying attention to Green Bay players' social media? Look, honestly, not too much. Some players that didn't show up to optional preseason workouts / meetings in previous years are now all of a sudden stepping up, and it seems as though they have a lot more initiative to come to optional things. Your thoughts on that? I don't follow too closely on which Packers do and do not show up.
But we'll take your word for it.
Yeah. To optional meetings and workouts. But, I am always a fan of my team showing up to these things. I think that there is definitely a feeling to this Packers team going into the season that it is a close-knit group of dudes, a young group of dudes who are hungry to win. That is the vibe that I'm getting the more and more I hear about what's going on in Green Bay this year. So I think that this is very consistent with everything else, and it's reason to be excited. If I were a Packer fan, I'd be very happy to see that this team seems all in and pissed off about the way last season ended. Now, this also could have nothing to do with what I'm saying. It could just be a coincidence. But I do think that the vibes out of Green Bay right now are probably the best they've been heading into a season in like 4, 5, 6.
I mean, the culture's just totally
in Rodgers'
changed.
career.
You've got young guys in who are hungry, and Jordan Love is being a leader, right? And like Aaron Rodgers, he did this for a lot of years and was very good at it. But right now, Jordan Love is stepping up. He's getting guys to take the offseason seriously, and he's leading by example. He's not going on a TV show. He's not doing weird retreats. He's not going to South America to do drugs. Like Jordan Love is training with Drew Brees on the second day of the offseason. He wants to win, and I can't blame him. But it's definitely a very different culture change.
It's a great one if you are happy if you're a Packer fan. Do you have any early predictions or division winners based solely on current pre-draft roster? Well, Ryu Itsuya, we actually did an entire episode of pre-draft predictions for where teams will finish. That you could go check out, a full episode. And I'm assuming you've probably seen it because we thank you for commenting and sharing mailbags all the time with us. My winners, though, for the divisions were Cowboys in the East, Detroit, San Fran, Atlanta. That's your NFC. AFC, I had the Dolphins. There you go, Zach. The Bengals, the Chiefs, and the Texans. So we have an entire episode dedicated to just this question. We didn't anticipate this question, but we do have an entire episode for it. So check that out if you want more on that. James Library, another consistent commenter, says, what is your guys' favorite football play that you've seen that doesn't involve your favorite teams? Keep up the amazing work, guys. Love listening to all your content. Thank you, James. We really appreciate it, and we look forward to your questions every week. Go ahead, Ziggy. Do you have a favorite play that sticks out to you?
A favorite play that sticks out to me? That's a good question. So I can't pick any Vikings plays, right?
No Vikings. And you know what? I'm going to take away any Notre Dame plays, any Rams plays from your Rams fandom. I'm going to take away the Jets too. I'm going to really try and narrow this into non-Ziggy teams.
This is a play that has unfortunately been lost due to time because of how the rest of the game played. But for me, maybe the most incredible football play I've seen in my time watching football. This is the very first real football game I watched and paid attention to. The Julio sideline catch in the Super Bowl.
Oh yeah.
No, if the Falcons had won that Super Bowl, that would be a Hall of Fame moment play. They didn't, so it never happened. But that is, I think, the greatest catch that I've ever witnessed.
That was unbelievable.
I wasn't around for the helmet catch or whatever. I'm not saying it's the best catch in NFL history or whatever, but you talk best catch in the past 10 years. People forget. There. You should look this up. People forget how incredible that Julio toe tap sideline catch was. Unbelievable.
I'm trying to remember. I think this just came to my head now. I can't remember his name. The lineman for the Patriots on the kickoff return. I think that was against the Packers. when he returned it to the 3-yard line or whatever it was.
Oh, it was Pat Connolly, right?
Connolly, yeah.
Or Donald Connolly.
Was it against Green Bay?
I can't remember who was against. Packers fans will know. Was it against the Packers? You can tell us.
I thought it was.
I hope it was.
But everyone knows the play I'm talking about. I remember watching that live, just laughing my ass off. And in terms of plays that really always stuck with me, you mentioned it. The helmet catch to me, I was that was 2008, so I was 8 years old, 9 years old at the time. I remember watching that game and being growing up in Northeast New Jersey, the madness about the Giants. In church that day, we got to go Giants from the priest at the end of mass, and I just remember that catch just being crazy. Pictures of it all over New York City. But the other one was the Santonio Holmes catch the year after. And it's funny that this comes up because I just rewatched most of that game. It was on NFL Network and I just had it on the background. I forgot how crazy that comeback from the Cardinals was. And then for the Steelers and Big Ben to drive all the way down the field, I was desperately rooting for the Cardinals because I didn't want Jack and the Steelers to win another Super Bowl. I was a bad friend like that. But that play might be the most skilled play I've ever seen because the throw was perfect, catch was perfect. I mean, that sticks in my mind. I remember that was unbelievable.
There's only one play I've ever seen that made me, besides of course, the miracle. It's made me actually drop my jaw as I was watching it. You remember that DeAndre Hopkins, over 3 defenders, catch it with 1 second left on the clock to beat the Bills?
I didn't see it live, but I remember. I
was watching this game on my phone. Right, there was some other game on the TV that I was watching, and I thought the game was over. So I glanced down and saw Kyler Murray chuck this ball, and there's 3 defenders around, and I just sort of see game over. But the audio's on a little bit, so the ball's over. I say, "Oh, nice job," and then I hear touchdown. And I look and watch the replay. Again, this is a play some people forget about. That is one of the most impressive catches in NFL history. You've got 3 defenders all over you. You just go up, get the ball, win the game over.
Oh, it was disgusting.
If there were fans in the stand, there would have been an earthquake. And
jaw dropping was also Michigan State. If you go to college, the punt, the dropped punt return for a touchdown. That actually, I remember my jaw just looking around, my friends going, "Oh my God, did that just happen?" But there's so many plays. Drop in the comment section a play that you remember like that. Could be your favorite team too. Maybe Maybe it could be the onside kick, the helmet with the Packers, if anyone remembers that play against the Seahawks. Just messing around. X Pomsky X says, just a friendly reminder that you guys are 10.3% on the way to 100,000 subscribers, meaning we will require that slow-mo bachelor video from Ziggy.
We get to 100K, it might just come.
That'll come. That'll happen. But the question of the week, can you imagine Jack doing what Aaron Rodgers did, going into a darkness retreat? Even better, imagine Russell Wilson doing a 2-day darkness retreat, just 48 hours of silence in Steeler country. Let's weld. Jack, can you handle the 48 hours? Paul, can Kirk handle that? Let's see into this. Will he make a great return next year? In terms of Jack doing a darkness, you wouldn't want to see. I don't want to see what would happen during a Jack darkness retreat. They'd have the cameras on him, the night vision. I don't even want to know what's going on in that room.
We know what'll be going on in that room.
I don't even want to know what's going on in that room for 48 hours.
We know. This is a PG.
I don't, I could do a darkness retreat. I could handle it. I want to do one sometime.
Yeah, I think it would be kind of, I think it would be kind of fun. Russell Wilson would also just be he'd probably just meditate for 48 straight hours and not move. Kirk would be phenomenal at it. Kirk would find some deeper spiritual meaning for sure. But yeah, Jack in a let's move on.
We should try that sometime. If I have to do the Bachelor thing, Jack's to do that when we
Jack in a darkness retreat.
Who knows what would happen?
I don't think Jack likes the dark. I think, or Andrew, or someone didn't like the dark.
Better.
No, Jack doesn't like
ghosts.
robbers.
Robbers, yeah. Jack doesn't like robbers.